Okay, I'm gonna show you how to make a room in Rainworld in 10 more steps. So, yeah, let's get into it.
So, the first thing you want to do is you want to open up a browser or whatever. I'm going to choose Google Chrome for this. Okay, and then you're going to pick a editor to use. There's tons of them, like Henry's, Com's. I'm going to use Rainworld Editor Plus, which is a certain one. You can find the download link on GitHub. To download your editor, I'm using Rainworld Editor Plus, which is on GitHub. So, you just want to type in the author of the editor. It's him right here. Cool dude. You want to click on Rainbow Editor Plus. So, to actually download it, you need to go to the releases. You need to go to the newest one, which is the best, in my opinion. And then you want to click the raw files. Those are like the downloads or whatever. You want to choose your operating system. Like, for instance, this is a Windows computer, as you can tell. So I would download the Windows raw file. So after you download it, you want to go and extract it, and that's the end of the first step.
So the second step is to configure the game to allow us to put a room in there. So we don't have to make a mini mod that the game recognizes for us to fit a room into. So we're gonna get into that.
So you're gonna go to your Steam library, which is where Rainworld is kept. Steam apps, common, and Rainworld should be right here. Then the mods are in Rainworld data, streaming assets, and mods. This is where you're gonna place your levels at eventually. So all you need to do is make a folder here with the name of your mod, which is the Northern Expansion in my case. So I just made a new folder. Now, to actually get the game to recognize your mod, the next step is to make a JSON file, which I just made with Notepad. Let me just show you. See, ID, which is the ID of your mod, name, version of your mod, which is pretty self-explanatory. The target game version, that's 1.9. The authors, that's me and a dude. Description, everything is pretty self-explanatory. I'm not gonna get into this though. So, after you're done making all this, you just wanna put it in here into the folder you made, and rename it to a JSON file. So, after you make that, you're gonna go and make a levels folder, which will house your rooms and stuff. Let me just actually do that. So yeah. So what you want to do to repeat is make a new folder called the mod you want, and then levels. And now you've set up the framework of where your rooms are gonna be. So the fourth step now is to actually make a room. So you're going to hit the new button, and you're going to get into the main editor. So there's a geometry editor, tile editor, camera editor, lights editor, effect editor, prop editor, and the environmental editor over here. I'm going to divide each of these into steps. So, fifth step, after you open it up, change stuff, is geometry editor. This is the most basic editor in my opinion. So if you've ever played Rainworld, you know that most of the time it's inside a room or whatever. So we just make some basic geometry here. You can make it anything you want. So, another thing, Railroad is divided into 3 layers. See, look, Z, 1, 2, and 3. The first one is the foreground, which is the main area you interact on. Then the background, which is black right now because it's filled in. And then the very distant background, which is like very far away buildings and stuff. So, I'm actually gonna fill this in kind of partly. Okay, now, our room right now consists of just mostly rectangles, so to add in some spice, we can put in some slopes, space to, rotate them. Now these are X's because I haven't placed a, let me just exit, okay. So yeah, place the slopes down, all that. So after you get done placing slopes and geo, you're gonna just keep on filling out the area of just random geometry mostly. Now, if you happen to notice, I misplaced a couple poles here. So, to get rid of these poles, you click one of these red buttons. But each of these serves a different purpose. The clear all clears every single tile within any of these layers. I don't want that, because you see there's like things behind there. Then there's layer clear, which clears stuff on the layer that you're in. Say it's like this one. I want to delete like this. It won't delete any of this, but it would like that. And then the last layer, the last button is upper clear, which clears only top layers, like beams and paths. So, this is what you use to get rid of beams and stuff you accidentally place. You also have other tools for, your geometry and stuff, such as, change rectangles, you can place circles, this neat stuff to further enhance your, level editing abilities. Okay, so after you do that, you want to place the entrances to the room. Now, a room will not work without an entrance. So, you want to make sure you place your entrances not outside this white border, because the white border only loads stuff inside of it. And it doesn't like work. So if you place like a P out here, it's gonna break the entire level, not mid-load. So just a warning. You can use the upper clear to clear those two. So you just place, make sure they're not inside the border. Now you want to place the entrances to the entrances, the shortcut entrances. You want to place these one in the wall, and then connect them via shortcuts. Now you might notice this is an arrow and these aren't, and the reason that is because there's a solid block in front of them, so you want to make sure that's filled out, and you see it'll turn into arrows. Now this can only work if there's like a fang in one of the cardinal directions, so just be aware, don't make a move. So after you're happy with the geometry of your room, you can move on to the next step, which is like step 7. So you can escape, and you see it's saved. So now after you get your geometry done, I would recommend going to the tile editor next, which is the next editor. Now this includes all of the graphics for the game, and it tells the game what to render. So you have all types of materials here, which is just like Okay, so yeah, these are all the materials and jazz. Um, it's not just materials to place on these blocks either. You also have tiles, such as like cross boxes, plates, ramps, fences, vents, misc, machinery, you know, like fans and stuff, pipes, all of the jazz. So I'm going to start with making some materials. So this is going to be a time lapse of me just outfitting this room. Oh yeah, before I do that, the default material is concrete. You can change that to be any one of these you want, but I like concrete the most. So I'll see you in a minute after I'm done with this first layer. Another important tip, if you place like something you don't want to place, if you press space, it goes into delete mode and you can delete the thing you want. So after you're happy with the first layer, you get to move on to the second and third layers. So you can see this takes like a long process. So after you're happy with how your room looks and stuff, we move on to the next step, which is the camera editor. Now, because this is a one-screen room, you don't really have to worry about the camera editor. So now we get the light editor. So the thing about the light editor is kind of like MS Paint, kind of. You just like draw some stuff, like for example, like you can draw some beams crossing out sunlight or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? But that looks good enough. So yeah. So after you get done with that, you can go to the effect editor. Now, this is our next step, and this is like one of my favorites. So this applies effects to your like stuff. So slime, rust, barnacles, rubble that you can add to the floor and stuff. And you also got like erosion, which gets very heavy. And you also got these weird things like wires and chains you can add to like the floors. Let me just add a couple of these. Okay. So yeah, you just really want to like just sprinkle around some stuff. Yeah, I'll put some rust for like metal and stuff. Okay, so after you're like good with what you have, so over here, we're gonna go on to the where is it? Black. You wanna go on to black goo. This is one of the most important things to add in this game. You just kind of want to like smother your room in black goo. So yeah. After you get done with this, you're mostly done for the most part. And for the next step, you get to the prop editor. Let me see if this is still recording. Okay. Get to the prop editor. Now this is where you can add very specific props like cogs and stuff. You can also place them on different layers. So you can press the buttons to like reshape them and stuff. I'm not gonna go too much into the prop editor since there's not really a lot of stuff here I like. So after you get done with that step, you get to the level properties and environmental editor. This allows you to add water and stuff. So you can adjust the water level. So I'm just gonna like add some water just for the effect. So after that, you are about ready to get started. So you want to save your room. So you want to go into your Steam library, Steam apps, common. You go to Rainbow, and then you want to go into the folder you made already. Remember that? Just find it in here. Rainbow, data, streaming assets, mods, and you want to put the folder you put, and then levels. Now you get to name your room. I suggest something simple like Woo or something. So as see it's saved. Now you want to render. This is just a bug that's been happening to me. So to make sure your room rendered properly, you're gonna go into your files and you're gonna go into the folder, drizzle, data, levels. I think it updated. And here you go. You got the text and you got the PNG. You want to just copy both of these. And can you guess where we're going to take them? So the next step after we're going to do this is, you guessed it, we're going to Steam Library, Steam Apps, Common, main world, data, streaming assets, mods, and expansion, levels, and then you're gonna paste them here. First, you want to do these. So, after all this, you can finally boot up the game. That's the next step, booting up the game. So after you get into the game, you're going to go to the remix menu and enable your mod, which I already have enabled. You know, it's got, you know, the version, target game version, media is you offer. You also want to enable DevTools for a reason I'll explain later. So after you enable them, you're going to go into Arena, and you should see your room right here. So, just load it in. This is a fast way to make a room and load it into the game. So this is our room. As you can tell, it could use some work, but overall, pretty decent in my opinion. You may or may not be happy with this room and you want to edit it further in-game. You know, you can do that. So, because you enable DevTools, if you hit O, you see that DevTools are active. And if you hit H, you get access to the menu, DevTools menu. This can allow you to edit the room further. For example, the palette, as you to change the colors of the room. I'm just gonna leave it at 0 for now. Now the wave speed and stuff has to do with the water down here. So, for example, you can change how wavy it is, which kind of breaks the game, but no, that's fine. You know, you can really get funky with the water, but I'm not gonna really do that right now. So, yeah, after you're happy with that, change how fast it pulsates or whatever. But yeah, after you're done with changing the water levels, you can get into objects, which allows you to add certain objects to them, like prayer pushback. So after you're done doing that, you can add sound, which adds different sound effects to the room. For example, woods right now. Then you got triggers, which y'all just triggers. I don't really know what to tell y'all there. And that's about it. We covered how to make a room, went through the entire process of that, how to download the editor, and you know, all that fancy stuff. After you're done with your work, you hit the save button and it'll save. So yeah, that's it. That's how you make a level in Rain World.